Itching for an old-school Castlevania romp? Intrigued by the recent randomness of Spelunky and FTL? Enjoy flatulence and genealogy? Then Rogue Legacy is right in your wheelhouse. For you see, this legacy bequeaths a randomized castle with multiple zones and bosses that will have you waving your sword at floating flaming skulls and haunted portraits until you succumb to death. When you do, an heir will inherit your gear and gold to carry on the quest, and you'll keep playing. The glittering coinage is the heart, soul, and DNA used to buy stat increases, classes, weapons, and armor, as well as magical runes that grant abilities like double jumping. But you can't just sit and amass a fortune as your lineage piles up corpses at the castle. Re-entry has a steep fee, and a gradual inflation keeps prices escalating, creating a fine-tuned bell curve of struggling growth. When traps and monsters become overly familiar, you'll find yourself venturing into forests, mines, and towers in search of better loot and blueprints to kit yourself out, as you have your ass handed to you by new threats. The dungeon rooms jigsaw nicely together, with randomized layouts offering plenty of big halls and tight antechambers. After a few deaths, it's easy to get a feel for the floors, but enemy layout can keep you on your toes hours in. Platforming is paramount to success as you navigate spiked floors, indestructible traps, and enough projectiles to induce bullet hell PTSD. Bosses in particular like to lay down covering fire in that queasy space between a readable pattern and a seemingly indiscriminate fusillade, making you second-guess your safe spots and leap for last-second dodges. Rarer rooms will ask you to perform specific goals in order to open chests, or may contain mini-bosses, mini-games, journal entries, developer Easter eggs, or perhaps even a boon or a curse. But wear the mantle of the hedgehog, for it weighs heavily on the shoulders of the adventurer. Rogue Legacy's real gimmick is the hereditary factor, where your heirs have random traits that range from the banality of baldness, a speed increase from ADHD, or world-flipping vertigo. We say gimmick here mainly because after you do a run as a colorblind dwarf and squint at the blurry mess as a far-sighted paladin, the jokes get a little stale, and optimization of the current run takes over with a preference to what class and abilities will be most useful. Don't like your brood's current offerings? Just die and try again. There are seemingly no real genetic patterns reflected in the offspring, making your next hero as random as the dungeon he or she will explore. There's certainly some funny stuff, and some particulars that interact with the dungeons, like small secret passages only dwarves can fit through, but these character quirks take a back seat fairly quickly. Likewise, the RPG elements only really play out in the prologue of each dungeon expedition. The platforming and swashbuckling here go beyond serviceable, with skill-driven abilities such as a powerful downward thrust that allows you to pogo foes to death. Your heroes, however, will generally gravitate towards similar weapons and runes despite their random class traits, though your predilection for health increases or magical prowess will certainly influence your choice of heir. As you become more powerful and gather more equipment, some interesting combos can emerge, further reinforcing the game's beat you down to build you up approach. Rogue Legacy gives a fresh take on old thoughts, plays well with the keyboard and better on a controller, and stands strong even if some of its own biggest traits are ever so slightly underdeveloped. Superbly designed and balanced, this game rides the line of frustration and fun to deliver that one more go feel that will have every barbarian king and queen roaring a battle cry, then gearing up to take on that ancient evil one more time.